Hello, welcome to lesson 5.2. This is about linear equations, and you'll see this a lot in this topic, in this lesson. Identify the proportion. Oh, by the way, this begins on page 7 in your notes. So our target, I can identify the proportional rates when given a graph or equation. So finding a rate from a graph or an equation. And I can compare proportional rates. Okay, so recall that the graph of a proportional relationship is a line that passes through the origin, 0, 0. An equation that models a proportional relationship can be written in the form y equals mx. And you probably remember equations like this from the last topic, where we didn't have the letter m, we actually had a number there. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. The equation y equals mx shows y is always a constant multiple m of x. So an equation is the form y equals mx is an example, I think that's supposed to say in, the form y equals mx is an example of a linear equation. An equation is a linear equation if the graph of all of its solutions is a line. Okay? Now let's talk about what we have here. This right here is a formula. So write this down, a formula for a line that passes through or starts at 0, 0. Doesn't always go through it, sometimes it starts at it. Okay? Now, this m here, that stands for the change in y over the change in x. Or remember, the other name for it is slope. Or the constant rate of change. Okay? Alright, so let's look at our first example. This is actually all done for us. We're just going to talk about it. A tree grows 5 inches each year. Now, that can be represented by this equation. But let's take a look at the table below. So in the table, we have the time in years, and we see that this is increasing by 1 each time. So write this down. +1, +1, +1. Then the height is increasing at a constant rate of 5 each year, +5, +5, +5. So our rate of change, our slope, is the change in y over change of x. That's 5 over 1 or 5. 5 what? 5 inches per 1 year. Alright? And notice, in our equation, that's the number next to m, or x, excuse me. It replaces m, okay? So m is equal to this. And then if you look at the graph, look at that very first point there. This is also known as the unit rate, okay? It's what tells our data what it's going to be increasing or decreasing by, our rate. Okay? Alright, so let's try putting this to work for us. Over on the next page, page 8, we're given a graph, and we're going to figure some stuff out. The graph shows the distance, y, a car travels, and time, x, at a constant speed. What is the constant speed of the car? So when I look at the graph, I'm looking right here. It's that unit rate, okay? The constant speed for the car is 30 miles per 1 hour. Now, if you couldn't tell what it is at 1, you could have actually taken 2 points and found the change. So like I could take this point and this point. So the change in y going from 60 to 90 is increasing plus 30. And then the change in x going from 2 hours to 3 hours is increasing 1. Change in y over change in x, delta y over delta x, is how you find the rate, the slope of this. How far will the car travel in 2 hours? Okay, well that's easy. You can look at the graph and follow up where it's at 2 hours and then follow it over and you get 60 miles. Make sure you include your labels. If you didn't want to use the graph, you could use the rate. Well, if it's traveling 30 miles in 1 hour, what's it traveling in 2? Well, we do 30 times 2 and we get 60 miles. So there's a few ways you can figure that out. Or we could have made a table and figured it out that way. How long will it take a car to travel 120 miles? Now for this one, if we're using the graph, we go to the distance of 120 and follow it over, and it's here, and then follow it down, and we have our answer of 4 hours. Don't forget your label. If we want to use the rate, well this time we're not going to multiply. We know our rate is 30 miles per hour. We know we have 120 miles. So we're going to use 120, and this time we'll divide by 30. And when we do that, we get 4 hours. Okay, part D, write an equation to model the situation shown. Remember, all equations look like y equals mx. We replace m with our rate. What is our rate? It's 30 over 1, or just 30. So the answer is y equals 30x. That's your equation. E, how far will the car travel in 6.5 hours? Let's use our equation. Remember, y stands for the distance. That's what we're about to find. X stands for the number of hours. So we're going to substitute this in for x. This is our x value, our input. So y equals 30x is our equation. So y equals 30 times 6.5. And then when you solve that, you get y is equal to 195. Now let's answer this in a sentence. The car will travel 195 miles in 6.5 hours. Period. Okay. On the return trip, now let me move this up. On the return trip, the car drove 120 miles in 5 hours. What is the constant speed of the car? So to find this, we're going to do our change in y over change in x. So there's our change in y. There's our change in x. So 120, so delta y over delta x equals 120 over 5. Divide that and you get 24 over 1. What does that stand for? That means 24 miles per 1 hour. Alright? Okay, next page, page 9. We have comparing rates. I know the video is starting to get long, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. The number of words, y, you can type in x minutes can be represented by the equation y equals 55x. The number of words your friends can type in x minutes is modeled by the graph. Which of you can type faster? Alright, so let's split this in half. This is and this is your friend. Alright, so you are represented by y equals 55x. What is your rate? The rate is this number here, the number next to x. So you are typing at 55 words per minute. Now let's look at your friend. Your friend, we're going to follow this graph here, and I can see there's a point right here. And that point is 150 words in 3 minutes. Well, to be able to compare these two, I have to get this simplified down to something over 1. So 150 divided by 3 is 50 words per 1 minute. So, which of you can type faster? You type faster than your friend and then let's add in the difference. 55 compared to 50 is by 5 words per minute. Okay? Alright. Mr. Dietz says he can type faster than you and your friend. Mr. Dietz can type 180 words in 4 minutes. Is Mr. Dietz correct? Let's see. I will offer you a chance to earn some points on your scoreboard. You're going to try this one on your own. Find the rate for Mr. Dietz, and then compare it to you and your friend. And then for every different strategy that I get, I will give you another point on your scoreboard. No more than 5 points are allowed to be earned. Alright, if you had trouble with this, go back and rewatch the video, come and see me for help, ask a friend for help. Good luck, and we will see you in math.